Hi everybody, I am Julia Anchorhaven and this is a full disclosure diary episode, and in this series I generally talk about what's going on with me, things that I'm processing or working through, observations I've made in the community and things like that. So I'm approaching my birthday. It's my birthday in 5 days and I'm going to be 50. so so I'm still dealing with the idea that this body is 50 years old. However, it doesn't mean as much to me as it used to, knowing that I've been part of these space programs and military programs and stuff like that. So the the body aging, it's already been aged and de-aged many times before. It's been in multiple programs and things like that. So it doesn't mean as much anymore, but I'm still, I'm still doing what I do for my birthday. I have a birthday week and I do this because I want to make sure that something nice kind of wraps up my year. So I do something little each day, something nice, or I buy myself something that I really want. And I've developed this routine over the years because I didn't always have people around me who would make my birthday special. So I've taken back the control of having a good birthday week. And I know even using the word birthday is not a popular term anymore. And even wishing people happy birthday is just reinforcing that spell, that aging spell. And I truly do believe that's there, because as soon as I stopped to use that, I felt differently. I felt differently on the day. When I said to people, it's okay not to wish me happy birthday. I don't want to hear the song. I'm definitely not blowing out candles. Because if you guys don't know, as a witch, we don't blow things out because that can cancel out the magic. So you're making a wish and then you're blowing it out afterwards to cancel out the energy. So that's like a reverse spell that you're doing there. So we definitely don't do that. As witches, as magical practitioners, we burn things down. Yeah. Um, yeah, if you have to snuff, then you can snuff, but we generally don't do that. So I buy myself nice things, or I do nice things on the run up to my birthday, and then it ends on that day, and that's it. The new year starts then. And this year I will be going live on the Typical Skeptic podcast right at the end of my birthday. I'll be doing live readings. I'm going to be there with a friend, Selena. It's her birthday the next day, so we're kind of crossing into both of our birthdays on the show, which is great. And I don't know if you can see, but I've got the Psychic Duck t-shirt. The Psychic Duck t-shirt, which is something that I've been hoping to get all year. And this is from the Typical Skeptic Gallic Tech store as well, so you can have a look on Rob's channel for Typical Skeptic t-shirts. So I've got two now. So I've got a Psychic Duck and I've got a TSP one as well. So this is more of a wrap-up video. I feel like I've been getting checked on by my space parents lately. There's certain people in our community who feel like they're my parents, because I'm actually a very young energy, and other people, even though I'm older than them, are a lot older energy. And so people have been checking on me. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. So I thought I would do a diary video just to let people know that I'm still alive. I'm still just working through my things, even if I'm quiet at the moment. I'm okay. So yeah, so I thought I'd do a little bit of wrap up and talk a bit about milestones as well that people have on their spiritual journey. So I started my spiritual journey when I was like 8 years old, probably before that, because of all the other programs and things I was in. But Julia, the front person, she started at 8 years old as her parents were going through a divorce, stepped into magical kind of energies, and my dad got me a black cat and a broom, and I was reading the books Carbonell and the Little Vampire and the Worst Witch and things like that. So for Julia, that's when her spiritual journey actually started. I had a beautiful black cat called Carbonella. So Carby was my best cat in the world, and she's still with me in spirit, I'm sure. So it started then, and I kind of knew, even at 8 years old, that I was not the same as other people in my class at school, that I was different. I wasn't the same as my sisters even, or my brother, and things like that. I just knew that there was something more to the world, and that carried on over time. When I got to about 15 years old at school, we had to do an English project, and I picked out-of-body experiences for mine. Got a lot of ridicule for it as well. And I think that made me take a step back from talking to people about unusual experiences or how magical I felt and things like that. I was actually kind of raised on Star Trek, 'cause my brother used to take care of me quite a lot, and we used to watch Star Trek, and that was our thing. So I kind of speak Star Trek is how I think of it, and I get very excited when I meet other people that speak Star Trek and have watched like all of the series. So yeah, so I can kind of tell what kind of person you are by what generation of Star Trek, what kind of series that you're into. I'm not in a judgy way, but it just gives me an idea of what we can talk about as well. And me and a friend recently, we were thinking about who our Star Trek characters might be. So just have a think about that. If you think that Star Trek could be based on the space programs. Interesting. Yep. So when I moved into my teenage years, I was trying to get into tarot and astrology. Still never worked out for me, tarot and astrology. Astrology just doesn't resonate with me. I am a Scorpio. I'm probably a very typical Scorpio as well. But I could just never hold that information in my mind. I did find a book years and years and years ago, which was about Egyptian astrology, and I remember reading about myself, and it was absolutely spot on. But I didn't have the money to buy the book at the time, and I never found it ever again. So yeah, so sometimes there's things that we're just not meant to know. It's not our thing, and that's okay. Because a lot of people talk about astrology is wrong. You know, there should be 13 signs instead of 12 and that kind of thing. So when I learned that later on, I thought, you know what, I'm fine. It's just not for me. I'm just going to let that go. Let other people get into astrology. It's just not for me. And I'm glad I did, yeah? So people are always very surprised that I don't know astrology and I don't actually read tarot. And I have been on a course to read spiritual tarot, which was Simon Goodfellow, who's quite a famous psychic here in the UK, and I did his mediumship course a while back, which was very good, and I could read the cards while I was there and everything, but it's just not for me. So I'm an Akashic oracle. That's what I do. I love working with oracle cards. So yeah, so I never got really into that into my 20s, and I had very kind of mundane jobs in my 20s, but I do have like a passion for travel. So there's milestones marked in my last 50 years that are about where I was, what I was doing, and it's all about the countries for me. But even now, as I look back, I noticed that everything was kind of engineered for me to be near deep underground military bases, or you know, like places where there was airports and stuff like that. So even looking back now on the last 50 years, I see that there's been a lot of control, a lot of handling, things that I just wasn't aware of at the time. Okay, but I see it now. I see things very clearly now. So yeah, so in the first 20 years, things were quite mundane when you're trying to figure out who you are. Who am I? That question follows you around for your entire life. It never goes away. You get a little bit closer every year discovering who you are and what you love to do. So when I do coaching with clients now and they're asking, I just don't know what path I should be on, I just don't know who I am, then, you know, the message that I generally give people as, it's about what you love to do. It's about what you love to do. It's about the passion that you hold that's eventually going to kind of put into foundation who you are. So if people ask me who I am now, I don't have one clear answer, for we are many, yeah, because we are everybody and we are all one, yeah. And the more we move into that kind of viewpoint of we are all one, that we are all just one big energy, it changes how you spend your time, your energy, your money, that kind of thing. So who I am now, I have titles that I can go by, but I know there's lots of other versions of me, and I'm quite comfortable with that now. But at the start of the year, when I was told, oh, you have alters, there's aspects, that really bothered me. And as an access consciousness practitioner, we all have different aspects of us, different faces that we wear when we're presenting ourselves. And I think I've done a separate video on that as well, about all the personalities. And you have personalities that you put out at work, at home, with different people. That's the thing. That's just sort of how people live. You're trying to fit in, and that's a natural progression of your energy. To make sure you can fit into that environment. So as humans, we're actually designed to adapt our accents and things like that, adapt our practices and routines so that we can fit in with society. So that's like a natural, normal reaction. But when it comes into the programs, that a lot of us in our community have taken part in. I only found out about these programs in February and had it kind of confirmed with different people that that was definitely a thing, and tune into the energy of that I was taken. I was taken to put into labs, I was cloned, I was taken off planet, I was into 60 and back, 60 returns and things like that. So 20 returns. We're trying not to say the 20 and back now. So I'm saying 20 return, 60 return. And but so if you were in Nakwafen, if you were in the Dark Fleet, which is just another, you know, popular term for that situation, you did 60 returns in your physical body. Yeah. And it's also possible that they put a clone in your place when things like that were happening. So, and hey, this is coming out a lot in our community right now. Drago Reed talks about this, John Whitberg talks about this, David Purcell talks about 60 returns as well. So there's so much more going on than we actually know. Some of the information that's in our community is filtering through in a controlled way to get people using that terminology. So before we use the terminology, we need to think, do I remember this? Does it make sense to me? Is it real? Okay, because otherwise we're just getting buzzwords coming out in our community. So yeah, so all these kind of things started from birth, from utero, and then filtered through. So I've got things that have happened to me from age 5, 8 onwards, and all that. There's different versions of me. I've got names now of different alters. So I used to have a trouble defining alters and aspects. To me, it was a separate thing. Like alters were in this head, like it was a mind fracture, and aspects were like clone versions of me. But now I realise it's just all one, and I've actually started to connect in and to talk to those alters. So I've had an interesting experience in the last few days as well. But last week I did an interview with Ivan Teller, and he was able to see another version of me, who we call Jet. And he saw her as a Palladian that had like neon pink mohawk, that she was like a teenager in the galaxy in a white jumpsuit with a ray gun, exploring the galaxy, having so much fun with her band of friends and getting into trouble, you know. And that's generally how I feel. I do feel like a teenager. That's why it's like what I say to about space parents. There are some people in our community that do seem a lot older, who kind of feel like they are, you know, they're the elders, right? Even though I know how old I am galactically, and it's pretty ancient. But me in this body, Anchorhaven, she's pretty young, so pretty young energy, pretty childlike energy, and I don't mind. You know, I love having fun. I love laughing, and why not? If you can, do, because what else are you here to do? You're here to have as much fun as possible, to love as much, to experience as much. If you're not laughing, you're wasting your time, in my opinion. Okay, so whenever I try and interact with people, yes, I have a darker side, but I'm always trying to be in the light, and for me, laughter is the best way to do that. Okay, so yeah, so Ivan Teller, there's 3 videos with Ivan on my channel. There's 2 personal sessions where I'm asking him rapid questions, and he's channeling through ETs, so I'm getting a lot of clarification on that. And then there's an interview that I did with Ivan where we're talking about him, we're talking about his journey, and we're asking questions. And then he actually said that he sees me in a certain way, which is this altered Jet, and I love the energy when I tune into her. She is very fast, because there's aspects of me that are really fast. Sometimes I have to like slow myself down. I have to take like heart medication to slow myself down, otherwise I can be a bit overpowered or overwhelming for some people. If I really need to focus on something, then yeah, I have to slow myself down. So I don't currently take ADHD medicines, but I have something that helps me just kind of calm my heart rate, because it can get really, really high. So yeah, so that was something that came through with Ivan Teller. So I've been, on the advice of a friend, I've been making a list of all of the different versions of me and trying to get their full names as well. So it's not just, you know, it's not just that first name. You're trying to tune in and really get their full name, really get more information about them. So if this is something that you're working on, if you know that there's other versions of you, take that time in meditation to really set the intention to connect to your higher self or to your oversoul or to the actual altar itself and say, what is the name, what is the full name, what is the location, what do they look like, what do they do, what's their role, and try and get as much information organically as you possibly can, so that we're not always relying on psychics. Yeah, so I love working with my psychic friends, I absolutely love it. But whenever they give me information, I take my time with it and I really feel in, and then I do the psychic work myself to verify information, or I do research to verify information. And I say the research because this is important for the next step. So in September, I had a name come into my mind. So I've been exploring Japanese breakaway society, and off-world German society in the breakaway colonies. I've been exploring that because I met somebody who knew me from an off-world society, and rather than it being the really dark, like Nutgruffin, like geneticist kind of energy, which is very dark, it was something lighter. It was more espionage, it was more spy work or whatever. And I thought, wow, I really like that. But we couldn't track down the location of where we are. Okay, and I'm still struggling with the location. I know it's on an off-world colony. I know I am Germanic looking, but I don't know who I am. So if there's Germanic versions of me, then there must be Japanese versions of me. And for my dyad, my trauma twin, I actually see them as a Japanese person sometimes in my mind, and I know the energy is the same. And when I was a child, I looked Asian. My hair was very dark. I had a little bob, and I looked like an Asian child. So then I was starting to think maybe there is a Japanese version of me on the planet that was used in the programs. So I started to explore that. So in September, I was asking for, actually, no, in September, I was just doing general meditation, and a name came forward, which was Eris Soto. And I could not track this name down anywhere. I couldn't reconcile it with anything. Eris Soto is what I thought it was. And I did some research thinking, is this a person? Is this a corporation? You know, is this a Japanese word? What is this word? Eris Soto. And but I couldn't match it to anything. So I just kind of put it off to one side. So I write everything down. Sometimes I ask a friend, you know what this means or whatever. And then 2 days ago, I was in meditation and I set the intention this time to connect to a Japanese version of me. Okay, whether it's on world, off world, but to connect into a Japanese version. And as I was asking, what is my name? What is my name? In my mind, so I do conscious quantum meditation. So I am awake. Yeah, in meditation, we want to try and stay as conscious as possible. We want to move into that 0 point field. So you want to try and that center still point, and really kind of allow your energy to just become one with everything. So we do transcendental meditation. So I do breath work and really slow myself down so I can step into that 0 point energy. And I was asking the question, you know, kind of who am I? Is there a Japanese version of me from that particular memory that I have? And then from the right side of my mind, a name floated in very, very clearly, and the name was Eris. Erisu, yeah. So this kind of shocked me, and I thought, okay, that's really clear. I'm gonna write that down. So, and then I carried on. But Erisu, I did the research on it, and it really surprised me that I was able to reconcile this name with something, that I was able to find a character from a game, which also has a cartoon, and the character was me. Again, right? So I'm getting represented in TV shows, getting represented in multiple TV shows, and now I've been represented in a game, okay, in a Japanese game which has its own TV series. And it kind of shocked me because I didn't look Japanese, but again, it's represented in the Japanese kind of culture there. That Eris is there. So, and when you look, there's some things that say Erisu, there's some things that say Iris. Yeah, and then there's a character, a cartoon character that is blonde, French, and which shocked me because the first time I saw a clone of me was in France. Okay, I was at Disneyland Paris. I was waiting for the shuttle buses, and my brother-in-law was shouting, "Look, it's you over there!" And across the street, literally was a version of me, but with pale white blonde hair. Looked a lot like, is it Helena in the Orphan Black series? I'm not too sure. I'll have to check, but Orphan Black is also based on me. So So okay, she's blonde, she's in France, but she's Japanese, yeah. So she's in this Japanese troop, like combat troop or whatever. So there's that tie in there to the Japanese situation. And when I was reading the bio that you can get all these fan pages about this cartoon, this game called Sakura Wars, yeah. When I was reading the bio about her childlike energy, her psionic abilities, and it even used the term psionic, not psychic. It used psionic, which is like a military term for actively using psychic abilities. Yeah, so it talked about having telepathy, teleportation, and a plasma ability, which are all things that I associate with. Yeah, all things that I resonate with, or I've seen myself do, or I've remembered, or whatever. So, but it also said she carries around a teddy bear, and I thought, well, that's a bit weird. Okay, and I actually, for my 40th birthday, one of my sisters got me a Care Bear because I never had an actual Care Bear when I was growing up. So that was like a milestone of getting a Care Bear on my 40th birthday. I'm probably going to get one from my sister when I turn 50 next week as well, probably, which I don't mind. But since I'm single, I've started sleeping with a Care Bear, and I love it. Absolutely love it, and I'm not ashamed of it. I love sleeping with my Care Bear. I've got three now, and I have one that I just sleep with, and it brings me a lot of comfort. It helps me go to sleep faster because I don't sleep very easily. So yeah, I absolutely love it. I don't think I even had a bear when I was a child, but I love sleeping with my Care Bear as an adult. That might not be a popular opinion, and I don't care if people judge me for that. But this cartoon character, she carries around a Care Bear with her. Well, a bear and teddy bear, and I thought, okay, I feel like they're having a dig at me. I feel like whoever's created this can see me and is having a dig at me with this character. So not only is she short, but she's shorter than me. Not only does she have a bear, but she carries it around everywhere. And then when she doesn't get her way, she has tantrums and she uses her powers, right? And I thought, okay. So yes, I am very childlike, and but that doesn't mean that I'm always a child. You know, I can step into my higher abilities. I can become my ancient version of myself, obviously, and things like that. But I love being childlike. Why wouldn't you? I love having fun. I love laughing. I love making people smile, and I just love being me. So, not that I don't have a dark Scorpio side, because I really do. So this TV show, this cartoon, this game called Sakura Wars, and that itself has a resonance, okay? Because it links back into the Sakura flower. They call themselves the flower combat troop or something like that, but it also links into the off-world breakaway civilizations. And with the name Sakura is very dominant out there, yeah, for a prominent figure. And so that itself has a link to the space programs or to the off-world colonies. And so that really shocked me. Okay, so yes, I found another show that I resonate with, that I think this is definitely based on me. And I need to do some research into the other characters there as well and see. So I think it was it might have been Nuskin or John Whitberg who were talking about how things get made off world as well. Some movies are made off planet and then they're brought here, or vice versa. They're made here and then they're taken off world. So it's quite possible that this show is actually made off world and brought here, which I know sounds crazy, but I'm just putting it out there. As I think things through, they start to make sense to me. Anyway, so this was one of the major things that's happened with me recently, was I found, yes, another version of me is there. We've got Eris, and she's represented in this game show, whatever it is, this game and a cartoon. So that has made me pause and see. But I felt like it was the altar herself that actually came forward and was saying, no, it's not Aristotle, it's Erisu, it's Eris. So yeah, so that came through very clearly recently, and I was able to do the reconciling on that. And the point I'm making is that whatever information you're getting, there must be a reconciliation process, okay? So you get this piece of information that's either come through organically in your mind, or it's come from a psychic. So what do you do with this information? Well, there needs to be due diligence, I guess. There needs to be a process of discerning, is this real? Is this true? Does this match? Yeah, do I remember this? And things like that. So with so many people coming forward with information, like from the ACIO files, like I got my files pulled in March, and there was a lot of information that I resonated with, that I went on to do the work with, and there's loads of other information that I think, okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that, but if I can't remember it, then is it true? Yeah, so the memory process, that recall process, is important. So it's important to find your own way of working with this information, so that we're not just blindly going out and saying, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this. Yeah, and you know, I'm guilty of that too, of like taking my time so I can say, yeah, this is what I've been told, but now I'm going away to really process. Yeah, so one of the things recently that I've been trying to get information on is the merge, and the ACIO, which is on Jessica Morocco's channel. They talk about the merge of being, I think on the website, ACIO official, it talks about the merge of people being, so there's 12 merge members, and they're all really advanced psionics, and kind of soldiers, and they've been used in a separate unit, but they were rescued, they were refugees. And straight away, the refugee thing didn't sit well with me, because if you're a monarch and umbrella, right, why would you be rescued to just put in another unit to be used as like mercenaries or whatever? So that never really made sense with me, but it did resonate with me who they were mentioning. So there's two other people that I resonate with, have a strong connection with those people that are supposed both to be in the merge as well. And one of them's gone away and done a lot of work on this and has got memories. Now I'm still trying to recall my memories. I'm still trying to place my memories, because even though I get memories coming in, I don't always locate what project or what planet or what base or whatever. So that's something that I really I'm working on. So I am getting things organically coming through. I'm getting visions coming in. I'm getting kind of shadow memories, like a shadowy pattern coming in. I don't know how else to describe that, but you know, when you've got this dull kind of remembrance, I get a lot of that, and then I have to really think, okay, what am I remembering here? Okay, why is this feeling familiar? So I get quite a lot of that coming in. But yeah, that's something that I'm still working through, is the merge. Yeah, and trying to, because I do have, everything looks like I'm in tubes and tanks. Everything looks like I'm in these upright tubes, you know, so you can think, okay, what project is this? I just don't know. And so yeah, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm trying to drill down and get clarification on things organically. And then I work with the psychics to get extra clarification on what I'm experiencing. So if you look at my videos with Ivan Teller, I'm asking him, I'm seeing this and this. Is that this? And he's saying, yeah, it's this because, you know, and going deeper into those things. Or I feel like I've got this artifact in my energy field, you know, is it used to what I think it is? And then I'll get clarification from the Lyran guides or the Zeta Greys or whatever that he channels through. And he can channel through a lot, and I really love working with Ivan Teller. Love it because it's very fast. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, so what I've been working on lately is thinking about my milestones, thinking about, okay, the first 25 years of my life I was mundane, you know, I was doing a little bit of magic here and there. I wasn't really delving into my witchy side. I was starting to travel, realizing now that even the places I chose to go was probably all kind of MK Ultra'd. And then as I moved into my 30s, I was living in India. I had my son in India. A lot of the situation in India was handled. There was conflict, keeping me in a state of fear and lack, a lot of lack. I lived very, very simply in India. And then eventually pushing to get me back to the UK at a certain point in time as well. There was a lot of conflict there, you know. And so if anybody watching this has experience of being in the Indian SSP, please can you reach out to me? Because I really would like to speak to somebody who has SSP memories from India, because I lived out there for over 10 years, and I do feel like my projects were mixed in with Indian projects perhaps. So I'm going to be exploring that deeper soon, because otherwise I've only got memories of Diego Garcia, which is the naval base, which is south of India, and there's a version of me on there as well right now. So yeah, so this is all over the place, sorry. But yeah, so as I moved into my 30s and then I came back to the UK reluctantly, against my will. I came back to the UK, really did not want to be here. But now spiritually, I know I was meant to be here, but I am always thinking nefariously, was there something else going on that made me come here? Yeah, where I could be maybe controlled easier or whatever, because I'm not like living in a room that's surrounded by rice fields and stuff like that. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, so as I moved into my 40s, I started to develop a bit more of who I am, and going deeper into my spirituality. And the weird thing about that was I was isolated still in my 40s, and I decided I was going to open my wellness studio, but I was completely isolated from everything that was going on around me. So I had no idea what other wellness studios were there, what other practitioners were there, but I just got this idea that I was going to open my wellness studio, Anchorhaven, the Mystical Wellness Studio, like a brick and mortar place, and I was going to go for it. Right? So when I pop up on the scene, not knowing anybody at all, I think it was a bit of a shock to the community, because first of all, I don't sound like where I'm from because I've travelled for so long, and there I was just popping up. So it's like, was this something that was engineered, or did I just literally push through with this dream, this ambition? Yeah. So as I moved into my 40s, I stepped straight back into the spirituality, but I met a lady who had to literally shake me awake, because I thought I was awake, but I wasn't. So when I met Jill, she red pilled me and shook me awake. And I was working with Felix Hyde at the time as well, as one of the quantum healers here in the UK. So I'd have sessions with Felix and I'd be talking to Jill, and they kind of both brought me back into the reality, the truth of the situation kind of reality. And allowed me to kind of step into the mind and see what's going on here, yeah? And I really think that there's something more, that everything that I've been putting off for the last 30, 40 years, you know, not allowing myself to be magical, not allowing myself to think about ETs anymore, not acknowledging ET contact that I've probably had, or missing time that I've probably had. I just didn't acknowledge it until that point. It's only now that I'm thinking, okay, something's going on here. It was only in the last year or so that I realised about the targeting, about being empowered, and birds had to show me that there was something there that was cloaked, and the birds banged into whatever that device was that was cloaked above a street lamp. Yeah, so it was like I was getting a lot of signs and synchronicities, but it only really kicked in this year. And then working with Sean Bond, who was able to uncloak most of my files and stuff like that to start pulling out information. So if you're on this journey of remembrance, there's going to be periods where you've just had like half of my life. Half of my life was just engineered. It was programmed. When I thought I had free will, I didn't. The people that I met or engaged or had relationships with, I don't believe that any of that was organically put together now at all. I really do think it was all kind of engineered for me, to keep me controlled and handled. And not that I don't love those people that I had in the last, relationships in the last 40 years. Of course I did, or I believed I did at the time, So it's really, really tricky when you look back on your life. I'm at this 50-year mark right now, and you look back and think, wow, did I make those choices, or were they made for me? Yes, that's kind of where I am with my who am I becoming journey at the moment. Who am I? Remember who I am. I recently treated myself to the Starseed Oracle by Rebecca Campbell, because I didn't have it. And I thought, you know what, I've not fully bonded with the cards yet, but let's pull some cards. So I'm just going to pull some cards about me, and then we'll pull some cards about collective energy. So I record these diaries so that people can kind of see the process that I'm going through. So this is, it's healing for me to express what's going on. But if you're also going through a similar process, then you might have forgotten where you were up to or whatever, because I've discovered a lot of mind wipes. And that one from 5 months ago that I rediscovered recently, that totally shocked me. I think I talked about it in another video. When I came across a video from 5 months ago, thinking it was new, and then straight away the host is saying my name. I was in the live chat when it was first recorded, and that just blew my brains. It really did. So yeah, so we are having experiences, we're getting mind wipes, our minds are just clearing things out, especially if you're like a super soldier, you've got implants in. I think sometimes it just takes over. Please can I have the most aligned cards to find out, what do I need to know about my starseed pathway or the work that I'm doing? Thank you. So this is the Starseed Oracle. Okay, so the first card I've got is the Cosmic Heart. Devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Okay, that's lovely. So make your life a moving prayer. So yesterday I was teaching Violet Flame Chakra Awakening and Rescue Healing. We open up the chakra here, and the student that I was doing it one-to-one with picked the emotional healing rescue flame, and we could really feel that love energy coming from the heart of source. So this cosmic heart energy was coming in, and it was such a beautiful experience that we both had, because I don't believe anybody else, or not for a long time, had kind of moved into that kind of energy when I've been doing the Violet Flame Chakra Awakenings. So devotion, so I work with mantras and mudras, so daily devotion is something that I need to make sure I'm bringing back in to my daily practices. Okay, so when I teach Reiki and I say to people, any Reiki is better than no Reiki, Reiki lifestyle, this is about putting in morning and evening practices or fitting in that devotion whenever you can. So that's important. So that's a nice reminder for me. Make life a moving prayer. So as you're going through with expressing the gratitude is important, making sure the words that you say are just beautiful and gentle and healing. So that's a nice reminder for me. The next card is a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. There we go. Can you see that? So a new earth, it's happening. Keep holding the vision. So we are going to be tried and tested on your spiritual journey, on your awakening journey, or discovery, remastery, whatever it is. You're going to be tested. So having that trust and faith is important. And I always know now that when I go into meditation, I will retrieve information, that I will see a memory, that I will, make a connection or whatever, or at least I'll do some healing and invite in my guides or other aspects of me. So I work with like my Lemurian self, my Atlantean self, my Arcturian, my Palladian, my Syrian, my Andromedan. I work with other versions of me to bring in healing, and I have my guides, I've got quite a big guide team of all different kind of species or races around me. So keep holding the vision. So this is very, very important, especially as we move into 2026. I feel that the 2025 is finished and 2026 is already starting. That's how I feel energetically. That's how I feel. So what are you planning for next year? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to feel? What do you want to express? For me, I would like to do a lot more travel in 2026 and connect with people outside of the UK. I would like to do more retreat work and really start to build up the group work that I'm doing. So I always do a monthly retreat afternoon here in the UK, and I'm going to do more online retreats as well. As we move into the darker months, I'll be doing more online retreats, so look out for that. But keep holding the vision. So if you have an important job, to keep moving forward, to keep saying, okay, this is the truth of the situation. I'm going to hold the line here. I'm going to hold the light. I'm going to be a beacon, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And there's lots of energies around us that don't want us to be that beacon, that are going to flock to you and make things difficult because you are that beacon. Okay, but we do need to be the anchor. We need to hold the energy. We need to keep it light and fun and laughter. And the more we do that, the harder it makes it for the dark side to keep pulling us down or loosening our energy. Okay, so a new earth is happening. Hold the vision. Okay, the last card I've got, so this is more kind of personal reading that I'm doing, and then I'll do one collectively. And it says, trust the timing. Trust the wave you came in on. Time is not running out. So there's, especially with starseeds as well, there are waves of starseeds that have been coming onto the planet from the 1960s, I think people always say. So people that, incarnated 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s are different kinds of starseeds, okay? So this body came in 1975. So I'll be drawn to work specifically. For me, it's crystals. I'm a crystal kid. I know a new wave of crystal kids came in the 2000s or whatever, because I've seen it when I have my crystal shop. I've seen those children who are like maybe 10 to 14 years old now, or maybe even 25. Geez. How time has flown. Anyway, I've seen waves of crystal kids coming in the last 20 years, and when you see how they look at the crystals, when you see how they interact psychically with the crystals, it blows you away. It's like, and I always used to say to the parents and the grandparents, just let them choose. Just let them choose whatever they're drawn to, because it will be the perfect crystal for whatever the need is. And kind of stand back and let these children show you how to work with crystals. Okay, let them show you, let them guide you. And there were quite a few grandparents or parents who were saying, yeah, we're just amazed with what they're doing with their crystals. So not all crystal kids will be drawn to do healing. Some of them will be drawn to put them in the earth and stuff like that, to do the earth healing. There's a lot more boys drawn to crystals than there are girls in my experience. So there's kind of a new wave of crystal bioengineering. Oh, interesting. Where's that coming from? And so yeah, the boys are coming in with their crystals, and also things like Minecraft have made boys a lot more interested in crystals because they can see the geology side of it as well. So if you have a child and you're watching this and they've got crystals, just give them a reminder to get those crystals out, to refresh the energy, and to ask the crystals, how would you like to work with me? Have you got a message? And things like that. So I do teach crystal studies. I'm going to be putting some courses on soon, I think, just beginners. But I also do kind of advanced crystal work when we connect into the oversoul of the crystals as well. Love doing that kind of work in person. It's so good. But we can do that energetically because, you know, crystal energy is within you. I resonate as a crystal, which is one of the things why I'm so childlike sometimes, so youthful. It's because I embrace it. I embrace being a crystalline being. I love it. I work with crystal light angels. So I love it. Okay, so trust the timing, trust the wave you came in. The time is not running out. So time is a construct. Time is not what we think it is. Okay, we can sidestep into different times all the time, and yeah, so we're going to start thinking of time very, very differently soon, especially since the timeline itself is conscious. When I do readings for people, I'm always looking to see which cards I can pull forward to bring in their highest pathway, their highest timeline. And that's like a weaving method that I do psychically when I'm looking at the cards and pulling things forward. So I'm just going to reset these cards and get a message for all starseeds. And see, I'm going to cleanse the cards. So I work with wah-wah tubes. This one is 963, which is like a God source frequency. I work with much bigger frequency tubes as well. Please can I have a message for our collective, anybody who's resonating with starseed energies or galactic energies, or is just awakening and realizing that they are not the mundane person in the mundane body, a magical person. So what message can we have, please? This is really interesting. Got two cards very close to each other coming out. That's really interesting. Probably could pick more here. Let's see what we get. I've got 5 cards. That's a lot for me. Okay, so the first card is You Got the Love. Hadarian energy, codependency and boundaries. Okay, so it's asking us to review our relationships. Okay, setting in strong boundaries. When codependency comes out, it's talking about karmic relationships. So when I've been doing readings recently, that karmic relationship Akashic card has been coming out repeatedly. I did a live on Friday. You can go back and watch the 90-minute live that I did, and you'll see that card kept coming out. So it is time for everybody to review your relationships. Have a look for the ones that are easy, joyful, and ensure that you're receiving, that you're being loved, that you're allowing yourself to be loved, and stay in ease and joy. Okay, have a look at relationships around you that are more challenging, and know that these are karmic lessons that are for you to stand in your boundaries, or for you to clearly express yourself. Yeah, so the relationships around you, they're not good, bad, right or wrong, but you'll be able to see from the energy signature what your lesson is. So if there's something where you are more codependent, that could be a soul contract there, and it's time for you to review that and see, how do I feel about it? How do I feel about being codependent? Is there a lesson here? Yeah. So sometimes we get, I know I do, I love having certain people in my daily routines or weekly routines or monthly routines. I love having that close connection with certain people, and that might change every couple of months or whatever, but you know, I get quite excited about having best friends, and so that kind of comes in and out. But there's always going to be some people who are your best friend, but you only speak to them once or twice a year, yeah? Because that relationship is easy, it's confident, it's comfortable. And then you've got other people who are trying to drain your energy all the time, or trying to impose energy. So just have a look and see, where do you need to stand in your boundaries a little bit more? When it comes to boundaries, it's about expressing your boundaries, okay? That's the lesson. So you can say, oh, I'm going to put big walls around me, but if nobody else can see them or know that they're there and you keep stepping over them, are they really there? No. So you need to really think about expressing, okay? That's the big lesson. So the next card is the 7 Star Sisters, Birthing Creations, Tapestry of Life, Expression, okay? So it's nice when it all falls into place. So we've got Palladian energies coming in with the 7 sisters there. So birthing creation. So what are you passionate about? Okay. We are not in a time right now where we can just think, oh, maybe one day I'll do that another time. Maybe one day I'd love to travel. Maybe one day I'd love to be an artist or write a book. The time is now. Okay. The time is now. Yeah, and I'm the ultimate procrastinator. Self-sabotage is one of my things all the time, but it really is, the time is now. So birthing creations, tapestry of life. So when I think of tapestry of life, I actually think of Grandmother Spider Woman and how she's weaving that web of fate. And at every point where she crosses the threads, a star is born, okay? So you have an important role. You might not think you do, you might not think you're important, but you're just an expression of the God source energy. We all are. We're all one. So the stuff that you do is just as important as the next person. So think about how you fit into the bigger picture. And even if you don't feel like you fit into the big picture, there's going to be somebody or something or someone, you know, that's going to really love what you do. Yeah, the words you say are going to change someone's life. The creation, the artwork, or whatever it is going to make someone's day or make their month or make their year. Do you know what I mean? So you have an expression inside of you that is so important that you need to get it out. Even if you think no one will ever see it, just do it, because the expressing is healing. Okay, so that's important. Yep, so life expression. Okay, so the next card here is karmic relationships. Yeah, it keeps coming out. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. Now, a lot of people reference the Orion Wars, and I do know that that's come up for me in the last couple of years. It's one of the first connections that was made, was that I was processing rage from the Orion Wars, and at the time I didn't know what that meant at all. And if you're not sure, you can go to ascensionglossary.com to get more information. That's the site by Lisa Renee. She's got a lot of good information there, so you can see what resonates with you. But these wars have been going on for a very, very long time, and we were all part of it like 20 million years ago. And I think it was David Starr who said that I was part of like a rescue or something then, like 20 odd million years ago, and I had a galactic team around me, and we were trying to be positive force, but I got caught up in earth energies, and that's how I ended up kind of incarnating here. But polarity. So thinking about polarity, when I think about polarity, I think about balance, and I think about where do you belong. Not sure if that's what it should be, but I think about that. Think about finding your space. Thinking about what you're drawn to is how it comes in my mind. And soul growth. We're always growing every day. Even if it feels like you're stagnant, you're always growing. If you're feeling very stagnant right now, get outside, connect with the trees. The trees are amazing for mentoring. The trees can teach us so many things. They're not just about grounding, but it's about kind of sharing energy, holding on to wisdom, expressing wisdom, things like that. Now it's got here conflict, so karmic relationships and conflict. So we've already talked about reviewing relationships. You've had expression cards come out. So if there is conflict, we need to think about, is it worth it? Is it worth the fight? Yeah, is it worth being in that conflict, or should we just walk away? So I work with ease. I work with the energy of ease and joy. As an access consciousness practitioner, we work with the mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. So is it worth having a conflict? Is that the hill that you're going to die on? Or can you just say, that's an interesting point of view, and walk away? Yeah. So lately I've been processing quite a bit of trauma and wounding from an event that took place a few months back, and I was holding on to quite a bit of trauma, so I felt really violated with something that had happened. And so I can, I could go up to those people and say, this is, that's made me feel this way or whatever. Or I can just think, okay, well, I know I need to nurture my heart. I know I need to nurture other versions of me, and I'm just going to do that. So rather than going into conflict and having judgment and blame, there's nothing that those people can do, because this is my personal healing journey. So yes, we all have things that may seem like conflict or trauma and wounding, and it's really up to you how you deal with that. For me, it's moving into ease, moving into meditation, moving into healing, and asking my support team, my guides and guardians, to come around me. It could be journaling, it could be just expressing it out for you, or it could be working with quantum energies to lift and release it out for you. So we don't always need to go deep into conflict, and get into those darker energies. We can deal with it in other ways. On my evening groups, when I do shadow work with people, even when I do shadow work one-to-one, I always do it in the light. Okay, this is quite important, because there's so many priestess practitioners out there who are saying, let's go into the dark cave, and let's get fire, and let's do it. Well, I work with fire, but I work with violet flame in the light. I work with lavender violet flame and silver violet flame. I work with compassionate energies in the light. So we can take our dark side and our shadow side, and we can bring forward the diamonds that have been hidden away. Okay, we can access those diamonds, your greatest skills, your greatest gifts, your greatest traumas, and we can just gently bring them forward and nurture and heal and gently express and witness. Okay, so we don't always need to go into that state of conflict or rage. Rage, I've had a lot of rage over the years. Rage does need to be processed, but it can be processed without screaming. It can, although it's great to have a good cry, it's great to have a good scream now and then. I'm not saying don't do that, but there are other ways we can process these energies without moving into conflict. Okay, and how you choose to do that is entirely up to you. No thoughts or considerations or judgments on that. But you see, I work a certain way, and people work in other ways. That's fine. But if there's a conflict, just think, who is it really benefiting? Or can we be the bigger person and say, I see you, sending you love and forgiveness. I'm doing it. So when we work with forgiveness techniques, we can be that bigger person to say, I'm just going to ask the universe for forgiveness for all people, all parties involved, with no harm to self or others, and I'm going to be the person that just asks for that healing to come through. Okay, so the next card was this, second to last. It says, forge, don't follow. Pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. What an amazing card. Okay, so we forge our own pathways. Yes, I call it the mystical wellness path. So when I work with people for mentoring or whatever, I work with, what are you passionate about? What are you drawn to? What do you love to do? What brings you the most ease and joy? And what can we drop and let go? What can we lay down as we step forward onto the pathway? So we forge ahead something that's unique to you. Okay, and I definitely do that. I'm always learning and growing, but I'm not taking as many courses and things like that as I used to, because I'm going deep within to learn and grow. So I forge a new path, to pave a new path. Now your pathway is going to have many crossroads, it's going to have twists and turns, might even have spirals coming back and things like that, but this is your pathway. So you take that unique viewpoint on your mystical wellness path. Now I can walk beside you, I can help guide you, I can say, oh, did you see this, or have you spoken to this guardian, or whatever, but it's your pathway, so you lay it out ahead. Okay, so it says here, be the leader you wish you had. So as a teacher, we've all had courses that we've been on in the past where we think, that teacher was a bit sus. So when I do my courses, I'm going to make sure I do this, this, and this. So be the leader you wish you had. So, are you sitting in the room and the person you feel like is the leader is not speaking up, and it's your turn to speak up and become that leader in your community? So as a community priestess, it's our role to stand forward. It's our role to support people. It's our role, and it's something that you've done for years, you know, lifetimes upon lifetimes. And yes, you may have had challenges in this life where you've been told to stay quiet, stay small, but really, you know, you're going to know when it's time to stand up and say, hang on, I'm going to be the voice here. I'm going to support the people around me because I have those skills, okay? And you're going to develop that skill set when the time is right. So be the leader you wish you had. Okay, don't sit quietly anymore. Now is not the time to do that. Now is the time for Team Light to stand up and say, this is me. This is what I will and will not accept. And I am going to bring the community together for healing right now. Okay. Now the last card, let's see if it makes any sense, is Deep Cellular Healing. Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing. Yeah, so my Arcturian starseed lineage is quite dominant these days. I have an Arcturian aspect of me who is Telenaya. So she's an Arcturian commander. And I work with Commander Rialta, and you hear Joshua Shapiro, the Crystal Skull Explorer, he channels Commander Rialta in his Gateway of Light. Now, if you've not done that, please do go and connect in with Joshua Shapiro and the Gateway of Light, because what he's doing, he's opening up this energy portal for you to ask questions and to receive soul guidance from his wife Katrina, who's passed over into angelic form now, and she'll bring that through. Or you can connect with Commander Rialta, so who's kind of like a mirror of me in Arcturian form. So when I kind of remade that connection, oh, it felt so good. So yeah, so my Arcturian kind of blue flame energy merged in earlier in the year. So my violet flame, you'll see my logo's changed on some things to have some kind of blue spark in it. So my violet flame literally updated earlier in the year to bring in deep Arcturian healing. So when I'm working energetically with people, I'm bringing in Palladian healing, I'm bringing in Arcturian healing a lot. Okay, so it says here Arcturus energy, physical and emotional healing, deep cellular healing. So yeah, so we are working on that deep cellular level to do deep issue and deep tissue healing. And you're healing your physical body, but you're also healing parallel lives and universes, other versions of you, past lives starting to heal now as well. That's why so many karmic contract and relationship cards are coming out, because as we move forward, you're healing your lineage. So just know that the buck stops with you on certain things, that you are the pattern breaker, you're the code breaker for your family now. Yeah, so it feels really good to know that. I think that you're not going to go through the same repeat cycles, because I mean, personally with my relationships, I kind of repeated the same pattern that my mum had repeated as well, and it's really uncanny. Although less violent in my situations than my mum and dad's situation, there's a lot of violence there as well. But I repeated the pattern, but I felt like I ended it. Yeah, that's it. I ended that cycle. Yeah, so this is the one. Just know that whatever healing you're doing, you're putting a stop to it now so that you can move forward into ease and grace. So that's really important. So I'm just going to ask for an Akashic card, please, for the collective. So anything that the Akashic Record Keeper Guides would like us to know. So I work with the Akashic Oracle. This is my main professional deck that I work with that allows me to piece together things, timelines and healing for people. So I've pulled 2 cards. Okay, yeah. So we're being asked to, this is Prostitution of Self is the name of the card, and it's asking you to think about how you're spending your time and your energy, okay? What your boundaries are, how you're limiting yourself, and what steps are you taking next. That's what this card is saying. That red energy on the card is safety and security for the root chakra. So if you are bumping into things, if you're anxious, if you're worried, if you are physically falling over and stuff like that, you are not grounded. Okay, the root chakra cannot function unless it's at full capacity. Yeah, so if it's not a full healing capacity, then you will be scatty. Yeah, you'll be anxious, you'll be worried, you'll be bumping into things. That's the root chakra not grounded. So I do work with chakra energetics, so I'll be putting on some evening webinars soon to work with the chakra wellness. We're gonna, I think it's in December, we're working on the lower chakras, then we're going to work on the higher chakras, and then we work into other empowerments early in the new year. But yeah, so if any of that's going on with you, you're not grounded, get yourself outside, have some fresh air, lots of water and chocolate and cacao and things like that, and think about, how do I feel safe? What makes me feel safe? Okay, when the root chakra feels safe, you are grounded. I hope that makes sense. Get those grounding roots down into the earth as well. But once we figure that out, we're coming into balance and flow. Okay, and you'll notice there's a lot of elemental energy, but there's also a lot of structure on this card. There's lots of structure there. And she's doing a yoga pose. I do laughter yoga, I don't do bender yoga. But here it shows the key is kind of on the rocks. It's within her reach. You know, but she's got to bring herself into balance to pick that key up. So it's a beautiful card. Yeah, if you would like to go deeper, if you'd like to have a personal Akashic reading or Starseed reading or any kind of oracle reading, they're half price in my web shop right now at anchorhaven.co.uk. There's a coupon code, which is November. It's only for the next 5 days. It's going to end the day after my birthday. But book in so you could have a 30-minute session with me for £22, which is probably like $25 or something. And we can do that on Zoom. I work on Eastern time as well as UK time. So have a look at that. So yeah, so this is just what's been going on with me, guys. So I've been a bit quiet lately. I do have some really good podcasts coming up for November, but I'm trying to focus on fun. People who are really fun. So if I've not got back to you, or I've put you in December, it could be that your topic is a bit heavy and I want to have a lot of fun in November, that's all. No reflection on the people at all. So I'm going to be doing a podcast with Michael Koff and with Aurora Diamondheart soon, and who else? And I'm going to be on the Typical Skeptic podcast on my birthday, having as much fun as I can with my friends over there, and having some real fun. And my sisters will be taking me out for Chinese food, which is my favourite. Yeah, so 5 days left of my birthday week. So if you are on your galactic journey and you need support, I do have services available on my website. A lot of the work I do is sacred witnessing. So you can just express what's happening. There's nothing you can tell me that will make me think you're crazy at all. Yeah, because I've been through so much in the last 50 years. I really, really have. And it's only just starting to fall into place now. It's only just starting to get the context on what's going on in the last 2 years, basically. And knowing that you're a multi-dimensional being, that you're on planet and off planet, okay? That makes a big change to how you see yourself, what you're doing, what your mission is, what your goals are. So just focus on having fun, lots of laughter, and moving into ease, please. So all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video. I am okay. I'm in a reflection stage, so it's not like I've disappeared or anything. So if you're the galactic elders out there, I'm all right. So just putting that out there. So take care, everyone. Thank you.